Call of Duty Vanguard Zombies is out. It is here. People are playing it. People are streaming it. I have actually played it myself. I played it for about 2 hours-ish, and this is just an initial impressions video stuff I felt immediately. I don't want to sit here and make a whole review. I just want to go from my gut and talk about what I think is important, what isn't important, what I think the community is overlooking, and we'll just kind of go through it all, the good, the bad, the ugly, that kind of situation. You know, the first thing I want to say is that Vanguard Zombies is a game of caveats. You can talk about the positives here, but then you're going to always have something to fill into that negative slot, and that's just because this game mode's evolving into something that a lot of people are concerned about, and rightfully so. This is a weird year, guys, and I think that it is going to be a chill year, and honestly, I kind of want it to be a chill year regarding zombies, because I kind of want to go back and play BO4. I want to go back and play IW. I want to make videos about all of those games. I have so many projects and ideas and content that I want to make, and other games that I want to play. And I really want to see what else is out there. And maybe this year with zombies will be just kind of chill and under the radar and let us kind of enjoy some of the other modes that we've had over the last few years. But maybe I'm just justifying all of this so that I can sleep better at night, knowing that I just wasted $70 on this game. The first category we're going to dive into is the positives category. So I think the number one thing I enjoy is that this game has a beautiful art direction. I love the graphics. I love the deep reds and the desaturated gray tones of the Red Star base. I love transporting from map to map. It actually doesn't feel as bad as I thought it would. Kind of getting off topic here, but I just really love the way the game looks. I think that there is a lot to offer by having this deep, rich aesthetic and ambient atmosphere. I just love that kind of stuff, and they really did a good job, and it makes me look forward to what else is to come. And I kind of touched on it with that point, but the map is more original than I thought it was going to be. With Onslaught and Fireteam, they legitimately just pulled those maps from multiplayer, put zombies on them, called it a day. This does not feel like that. It is that to an extent. It's more of a copy and paste than it isn't, but the lighting, ambient atmosphere, the fact that they actually have taken elements of Red Star and made it all decrepit and put it on fire and put up these aether barriers and stuff like that. It is actually different. It feels a little bit tighter. It feels a little bit smaller. I doubt it is, but it feels like they've kind of changed some of the lanes a little bit, allowing you to get cornered and all this stuff. You don't have as much freedom as compared to the regular Red Star map, and I think that's a good thing. I really am impressed how they have managed to take a map like Red Star and turn it into something a little bit more original. I do think that compared to Onslaught or Outbreak, that Der Anfang is way better. It's still a little bit slow. I don't like having this much agency over my time. I wish that it was constantly being spawned in zombies and I was kind of always having to be on the edge of my seat, but I get why they're not doing that. It's still a little bit slow, but I really think it's better than Onslaught or Outbreak. It just needs more content inside of it. So the objectives inside of Der Anfang are just whatever. Objectives in zombies in general are just whatever. All you can do really with any objective inside of this game mode is just shoot the zombies to protect the thing, shoot the zombies while you're carrying a thing, shoot the zombies to get them away from a thing. There's just like 3 different objectives for all of zombies, and they just kind of put them on a loop with a different coat of paint. I'm not hating on them or loving them. They're just kind of whatever. I wish that they were leading towards something, because that's the whole point of zombies, is you want to get to the payoff. You want to have a quest or something to do that leads to a payoff, whether that's a perkaholic or a fully pack-a-punch weapon or a boss fight or whatever it is. We always are looking for that payoff. There's no payoff, which is a big problem, and it's just kind of like a never-ending objective mode. And yeah, it's just whatever. It's not good or bad. It just kind of is. But video games need reward systems. There isn't one here. It's a problem, but as far as the objectives go, they're just fine. Another thing that I enjoy, and this is kind of the final point for the good section, is the fact that the characters have their own lines now. I'm sure they're probably all the same across operator to operator, but they are a little bit more funny. They are a little bit more personalized. They talk about the perks and the weapons and all this stuff. And then you have the gods that are just constantly yammering back and forth. I was hoping for a little bit more of a unique experience where if I picked Frostblast, I would get that god only rather than them all talking at the same time. I knew Craft and Cortifex or whatever the hell his name is was going to be there talking. And I just assumed that the god I chose would be interacting only. But it is cool that they're all in the map at the same time. It makes it so that Treyarch doesn't have to worry about people picking or not picking certain field upgrades depending on how they want to play. So makes sense. Not ideal for me, but it's not really that big of a deal. Let's go on to the bad section. The first thing that I noticed that kind of annoyed me was the removal of alternate ammo types from the pack-a-punch machine. It's straight up just pack-a-punch your weapon, and since the enemies drop pack-a-punch weapons, I don't really need to go to use the pack-a-punch. It's kind of arbitrary at this point. Another thing that I noticed was there were a lot of little bugs that just were preventing me from having a good experience. Like I couldn't pause the game, and I know a lot of people are saying, oh, well, pause is coming. What? Pause is coming? Why can't I pause the game? That is just so stupid. There should not be a feature coming, a patch incoming to fix pause. Are you serious? So that's annoying. My field upgrade wouldn't launch a couple times. I was trapped and I had the Frost Blast field upgrade equipped. Couldn't use it. Had to switch to something else and it fixed itself. But that's just how I just don't understand how that happens when we just went through a whole system of having 10 field upgrades or 9 field upgrades and you can interchange them at any point in time. And then we start a new game that's basically the same exact system and it just doesn't work. I also noticed that enemies would just stop following you and wouldn't attack you. I think that they're supposed to do that at the earlier rounds, like on round 1, so that you can kind of figure out what's going on. They don't chase you until you start interacting with them. When it's on like round 10 or something, like I don't understand why they're just stopping dead in their tracks. Some weird bugs. I'm sure there's a lot more that we haven't even discovered yet. It's just interesting. Another thing that was kind of bothering me was there was no perk removal indicator for when you go down. It just flashes that you're losing your perks. And I don't know if you lose all of the level of perks that you just were on. So if I was on like double tap tier 2 and speed cola tier 3, do I just go back to 1 and 2 for each of those? I don't really understand how it works, and they just kind of flash on your screen. So I don't really remember what I just bought because there's like now 25 different levels to remember. I guess if you're at level 5 for each one, it would be easy to know like, okay, I'm down to level 4, but it just was a little bit confusing because I was still building up my character. I went down and I wasn't sure what I had lost and what I hadn't. And it would just be helpful to see it going down, or maybe just a rule book that I could follow. This could be all on me. I'm not really sure. Let me know in the comments down below, but I just felt a little confused. Like, which perks am I losing? Am I only losing stamina up? Am I only losing jug? What's going on here? Little confusion there for me, so I'm wondering if anybody else felt that. The last thing that's going to go in the bad category is the overall feeling of the game. Now, I am kind of split when we're talking about the way this game feels. When I am shooting a zombie, I honestly don't feel anything. When I'm playing Cold War, when I'm playing BO3, when I'm playing BO4, when I'm playing Infinite Warfare, any of the other zombies games, it feels meaty, it feels chunky, it feels good to shoot zombies in the head. I don't feel that with this game, and I think that can be fixed over time through optimization and whatever, but it just doesn't feel right. It feels floaty and light, and the movement in the game is pretty good for the most part. I don't like tac sprint in zombies. I thought I was going to. I don't like it at all. It constantly interrupts my reload. Not a fan of that. I hate the sliding in this game, especially when you go from having PhD slider to having whatever the hell this sliding is. It is not good at all. The visibility in this game is dog shit, not to mention the fact that smoke will come out of your guns and block your vision, and then you're just shooting regularly and the crosshairs and the whole screen is vibrating so much, like way more than I really have ever noticed before. And I'm assuming it's done this in the past in other games, but I'm noticing it now, which shows me that it's a problem, because if there's anything I've learned in my years of doing production and music and video and all this stuff, when your audience doesn't notice something and they're fully immersed, you have done a good job. When they start to notice the effects and the immersion is being broken because you're overdoing it, something's wrong. The fact that they have bogged down visibility so that smoke's in the way, the screen's shaking, ADSing through iron sights and just the regular default sights on the guns is so bad. You definitely need a sight, and they shake so much you can't see, so it's just really putting people in a position that's unfair and unadvantageous. They're better off just using a wonder weapon. But oh wait, they can't, because there is no wonder weapon, and that is how we're going to to transfer into the ugly section, or whatever you want to call it, the worst part of this game, and there's no wonder weapon on this map. And I don't know what to say. We're going to talk about why I think we should kind of give Treyarch a little bit of a break in a second towards the end of this video, but this is the first game we've launched without a wonder weapon. And I saw somebody tweet that even Noctur and Toten had the ray gun. We don't have a ray gun. We don't have a ray gun Mark II. We don't have a thunder gun. We have nothing. It's really weird. This game is so empty. There's also no Pack-a-Punch camo. The final camo for the Mastery camo is disgusting. I mean, we had this beautiful Dark Aether camo in the last game. We had Dark Matter that evolved in Black Ops 4. We had Dark Matter in Black Ops 3, which you could use inside of zombies through multiplayer. What is going on? It's just like they're stripping features so that they can monetize it in some in-game shop down the line. The level of replayability inside of Fang is absolutely minimal because it's just high rounds but slowed down to a snail's pace. Because with Outbreak, you can literally do what you want whenever you want, so there's no need to constantly rush to get to the next wave or the next round or whatever you want to call it. And that still applies in Fang. You can take your time and just wander around the map looking at the skybox if you want to. It's not a problem. You can do that. And having round-based features like rounds moving along after you kill the next zombie, that's actually advantageous to keeping the movement and the momentum of the game going. That has been utterly stripped. And not to mention the fact that we have these objectives that aren't really interesting. There's no end game. And in zombies, we've gotten to this point now where you need an end game. Ever since Ascension in Black Ops 1 or whenever the hell that game, or whenever the hell that map came out, there was an end game. There was an end game. We got a Perkaholic. You got a Death Machine. Samantha comes out of the MPD. Then you go to Origins and you have all these staffs and these quests to build and to go through. Shadows of Evil, Drak. We have evolved the mode to a point, and I'm not just talking about round-based zombies. I am talking about the evolution of zombies overall, where there is something to do. There is an end game, whether it's a boss fight or a rush mode at the end or a defense sequence or unlocking a wonder weapon or building Pack-a-Punch or whatever it is. There's always something to do that expands the game to make you more powerful or feel like you are earning something or doing something while you are killing zombies. Killing zombies is like the least important thing inside of zombies, which is hilarious to say, but that's the truth. We used to wait 2 to 3 years for zombies to come out. They would always be associated with a specific title. You know, we looked at Black Ops 1 with those set of maps. With Black Ops 2, we looked at it with Transit to Origins. With Black Ops 3, we looked at it from Shadows to Chronicles. It's like we always associated X maps with X game. And now I don't think that's the way we should be looking at it anymore. I think we need to look at it as time in between an experience. And whatever game is out is just going to happen to be the one that it's associated with. So when we talk about Cold War, we're talking about D Machina to Forsaken, but really that was just the engine it happened to be running on. Those maps didn't correlate with the launch of seasons. They came out in between seasons, sometimes not even at a season reloaded event. Zombies was on its own schedule, and I still think it is. So the fact that we just got Forsaken in October and we're trying to get a new map in November, it actually doesn't really make sense when we're talking about it from Treyarch's point of view of developing a game. So I think there is a little bit of shifting of our mind that we have to do here to understand that Treyarch can't constantly be pumping out new maps all the time. I get that, but they have also set a precedent and they have failed to meet that precedent. Fang and Vanguard Zombies is so empty. It is so unreplayable. It is missing so many key features that make zombies, not just shooting zombies and defending objectives. I'm talking about building things and going for quests and expanding yourself as a player inside of that particular experience. While I do hope that this is a chiller zombies year so I can go back to some other titles and make some other content that I've always wanted to make and do other streams of other games. Like, I do hope it's a chill zombies year so that when we get to Treyarch's next title, we're back on top. But I don't even know if I trust it anymore. This game is going to take until summer to get better. It's going to take until summer to be packed full of zombies content that is worthwhile. And if you are just a zombies fan and you only sometimes play multiplayer or don't ever play the campaign and you don't play Battle Royale at all, I don't recommend buying this game until at least May at least, because we're going to go through the holiday season when they add like 2 more objectives, maybe put in a pack-a-punch camo, maybe put in a pause feature. Like, how can you not put in pause? That to me is a sign that they literally have not finished this mode. The one thing I'm going to give credit to Treyarch is that the game doesn't feel utterly broken from a systemic point of view. It just feels empty and boring. And I really do think that they have built something different here, and it's going to take some time to get filled out, just like it did with Cold War. And it's probably not going to get good until summer. This game should have not launched with only Der Anfang. It should have launched with a round-based map and Der Anfang. Together, that would have been an awesome experience because there is something good about Der Anfang. It has something that I am interested in seeing develop. It's not Outbreak, it's not Onslaught, it's a mix of both plus round-based. I think it's an interesting concept. I would like to see where it goes, but it's not good enough to stand on its own 2 feet yet. It needs time in the oven, and giving players a half-baked idea is not fair consumer practices at all. It's utterly reprehensible that Activision would do this and allow Treyarch to do something like this. If you care about your customers, you do better. That's just it. You do better. All right, guys. Well, that's going to do it for this video. I know I said this wasn't a review, but I feel like there's a lot to talk about. This is an important moment in the zombies community. It's an important moment so we can see where Treyarch's head is at, so we can see where Activision's head is at. And I don't think it's on our side. I don't really know what the hell they want to do. I've been saying this for a year. I cannot understand the direction that Treyarch and Activision are taking the zombies mode. And then every time they come out with a new map, it seems like they are getting a little bit better. They're figuring out things a little bit more with these new systems, and then they just go and do something like this. So it's really confusing. Overall, like I said, don't buy the game until at least May. If you really want it, I mean, do what you got to do. But if you only care about zombies, I don't think you should buy it. It has some potential. It's just not quite there yet. And like I said, that's going to do it for this video, guys. And I will see you all in the next one. Peace out, everybody.